Honestly, this wind is so disrespectful, but regardless, I'm still gonna try and get through this. So, let's just power on through, shall we? Hello and welcome back to Traffic Talks. It is iconic that I am saying that in 2026. It is wild. So, compliments of the past festive season. Happy New Year, and may this year be the best year yet. Because honestly, we've got quite a few stuff to cover in this episode. So let me get the admin out the way, okay? This podcast is going to be going through a transformation of sorts because I'm going to be rebranding. So instead of it being TT, Traffic Talks, it's going to be PP, which is going to stand for Pyro's Podcast. Asterisks, because that is liable to change. So I'm still working out the kinks, but it is happening. So the rebrand is coming. Things are going to be changing and I'm very excited for it. But unfortunately, it's going to take time. So that's only planned for March in like 2 months. But my voice will be here to comfort you every second week. Just to help you get through tough times. And yes, you did hear me correctly, every second week. Because for the last 5 years from 2025, this will be my 6th year. For the last 5 years, I have been podcasting and I've been doing episodes weekly. And then December, I did Podmas. And if I didn't do episodes for a few weeks, I would do maybe a Podmas in July to play catch up, which is 25 episodes in a single sprint, which was exhausting. And last year, I realized that is a bit much for a one-man army to have to do, because I script, I record, I edit, I upload, I do all the things. It's literally a one-man job. So I'm doing everything, and that is hectic. So I therefore decided to just spare me all this nonsense. I'm going to be doing an episode every fortnight. So every 2 weeks, there'll be a podcast episode. And that also then gives me time to, instead of rat racing every week to get a single episode out, I'm doing one episode every 2 weeks. I can put more effort into it. But I can also focus on uploading old things to my YouTube channel, which I have neglected. Last year, I did post quite a few things and, bridge a large gap in terms of what I needed to get uploaded. But I'm still too far behind to be happy. On top of that, I got a whole bunch of other personal things going on in my life. So it is the best decision for me going forward. I will definitely be figuring it out and making things happen. That is the plan going forward. Every 2 weeks, there'll be an episode up until the end of November. I have a calendar year. So 27th of November, 2026 will be the last episode of the podcast for the year. And then December starts 3-4 days later. And then Podmas will commence as per usual. But I'm just not doing as many episodes in a year, because the 25 episodes I do in December equals like more than what I make in a year that I'm doing in a single month. Because I would do about 40 something episodes a year and then 25 at the end in a burst. And that was too much for me. So I think that'll work better for this year. We'll see how it goes. So that's the plan for this year. Admin's out the way. This episode is going to be an episode I've been meaning to get to for the past 6 months, if not longer. I was going through it in segments, but I just kept delaying it, and I know it's going to be a behemoth, so please bear with me. But it's the episode all about my trip to Portugal and the Madeira island that I went to for a wedding. It was amazing. But this is going to be the full breakdown. I might do chapters and leave them below so you can see exactly which segment is which. But yeah, I'm just going to babble and enjoy doing that. So please get you something to eat, something to drink. This is going to take a while, and enjoy my full-on yap session. Thank you. So, this story begins when my cousin announced he was engaged. This happened at the end of 2024, if I'm not mistaken. And there was an engagement party we went to for him and his soon-to-be bride in the beginning of February the following year. So last year, 2025, in Feb, there was an engagement party, which turned out to be a secret wedding party where they signed their wedding documents. So they've been married since February of 2025, and they only got married in August, end of August of 2025. So they've been married like 6 months, not even. Yeah, 6 months. Just about by the time they actually had the full-on wedding. So my cousin got engaged, sent out the parties for the engagement, but also announced they would be marrying in Madeira. So 2024, we knew already. After they announced the engagement, they sent out these digital little invite thingies, and they gave us physical ones. But they had announced they would be getting married. And the moment I got the invite, I said, I'm going to this wedding, come hell or high water. So I knew I was going to go. Keep in mind, I was not working then. I'm unfortunately still not working now. But I knew I would take all my savings and go. And that's what I planned. So 2025 rolls around. We have the engagement party and I start planning. I find out the best location to go get my passport. While I'm getting my passport, I'm like, let me do my ID and off we go. I start planning, prepping and researching for this trip. I ended up going to Paul, the Home Affairs there, to get both my ID and my passport. And the thing is, you go early in the morning and you drive there. And I live about an hour away, maybe more. So I was up at like crack of dawn to go up and get this thing and apply for it. So I got up early, I went there, I waited in the queue for forever and a day. I applied for it and then I came home. Then I waited, I think, a month or so. Yeah, it was about a month or so. And then I had to go back to go collect it because making the thing is one thing and then collecting it is another. The moment I did that, I went and I applied online for my visa for Portugal, Madeira. Okay. So firstly, I had to get the passport. I didn't have. And because of that, I missed the window for when my cousin was doing a group visa application. So I had to go this road alone through no fault of his own. I just never had a passport, never thought it would happen this fast, and then boom. So passport's done, next step, visa. I did not know all the problems it took to get a visa. So, visa. There has been an issue with the visa officers in other places, which I had no idea about. So everyone got diverted to either the Cape Town branch or one of the other branches, but like most of them were not available. And then you had to come to the Cape Town branch. So bookings, which you have to make before you can go apply for a visa, were chock-a-block full. Okay. So when I made my appointment after getting my passport, the appointment was for I think almost 2 months later, and it was for a week before I fly out. So I did the right thing. I booked in advance, I planned my stuff, and I was just like, are you kidding me? 2 months for an appointment, what is going on? So I was like, okay, Jesus, take the wheel. My flight is booked. My accommodation is booked. Everything is ready to go. I just need this visa. Okay? Spoiler alert. Obviously, I get it because I'm telling you about this trip. But yeah, I was panicked at the time and I was just beside myself. So the week before my visa appointment, I started prepping for all the things I need. For Portugal, I had to go through VFS Global, and I ended up taking my time to go through the checklist they provide on the website. So I printed out the checklist. I printed out my appointment email. I printed out all my documents in triplicate. I went to the bank and got my statement. I made copies of it. everything was on the up and up. I ticked off everything on there. And then I go to the appointment like a few days later. And I'm like, I'm so ready. There's no way they'll reject me. Like, I've got this thing down. Let's do this. I get to the office. I'm waiting in line. It's early morning. I got up so early. I think I left the house 5:30-ish, 6 o'clock, somewhere there, to go to town because the office is obviously in town. And I got there by, I think, 7:30, 7:20 or something. I parked at the CTICC and then I walked the rest of the way to the building. And I got in fairly fast. So I get my little ticket number, I wait, I go to the counter, and the office only opens at like 8:30. So we all go in, do the stuff. Everyone's number's called fairly quickly. So I'm like, oh, this is not that bad. And you know, I've got my little folder with all my documents in. I get to the front, it's my turn. Boom. Yes, here's my documents, here's my checklist, here's my papers, here's my things. And then she's like, where's this travel insurance? I'm like, who, what now? She's like, yeah, where's the travel insurance document that you need? I'm just like, Auntie, what are you talking about? And I show her the checklist. She's like, nah, this one's outdated. Let me print you a new one. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I had a full-blown, like, freeze right there. I'm just like, I don't think I physically could have panicked because I was just frozen in disbelief. And I'm like, oh, good Lord, what do I do? And she's like, you need to get this from insurance. So when you book your ticket, there's insurance, so you can like call them, whatever. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you. And she's like, just go out, get this, and come back. And I'm like, oh Lord, where do I now have to go and do this? Because I printed this thing at home. I did it on my laptop at home. I'm 2 hours away from home. What am I gonna do? So I literally go outside. I sit on the floor. I pull out my documents. I find the name of the travel insurance that I booked with through my airline. And I'm like, okay, let's start. Let's do this. I call. They tell me no. This call center doesn't accept this number anymore. Try this number. I tried that number. They're not answering. I checked my time. It's 9:15. The office only opens at 9 o'clock. I'm like, good Lord, help me. What do I do? So I'm waiting there. I'm panicking. I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll call at 9. They'll help me and it'll be fine. Did not intend for that to rhyme, but here we are. Cool. Call them. After 9, first one waiting in line on the phone. I had to still buy airtime for this nonsense. I was mad. And the signal was terrible in the VFS global office. I don't know why, but it was terrible. So I ended up holding my phone to the ear to try and like buy airtime, and then I did, and then I called them. And then I waited and I got through. And so I spoke to someone. I'm like, hi, I need my travel insurance documents. She was like, ma'am, I can't help you, but I can get an agent to call you back. And I'm like, okay, but I need it now. So how long is it gonna take? This woman told me an hour, maybe 4 hours. I'm like, can't you give it time? She's like, no, we need to log the ticket and then they'll get to you when they get to you in the queue. I'm like, I'm the first in the queue. It shouldn't take that long. She's like, no, ma'am, it's just how the system works. I'm like, okay, tell them to call me back. Please and thank you. I'm very, very polite because obviously I need the help. So I put down the phone with this woman and I'm just like, okay, there's a Vida cafe downstairs. Let me just go get a coffee or something and just breathe because I'm gonna lose my mind. I go and I sit down. So I go downstairs, I order my Vida, I sit down there with my documents and I'm just like, whoo, breathe, girl, because it's a lot. And so I'm sitting there drinking my coffee thinking to myself, like, no man, I've come this far, I refuse to give up. I will not back down. I will not give up without a fight. I will make this happen. I sat there thinking. Then I remembered I booked with my Nedbank card and you get free travel insurance. So I'm like, hold the phone. I pull it out. Ironically enough, my phone. I start scrolling through my emails. I find the email with the information and I call the Nedbank customer service and I'm like, hi, I should have travel insurance and I need the documents for that. Could you help me? The dude is an absolute superstar. On the phone while I'm with him, he was able to actually email me all the documents I need after I went through all the verifications and stuff. And I had it in hand. So I'm just like, thank you so much. Like, I finished my coffee because you can't take it with you, race to finish my drink, run back upstairs and go back in, get to the office, and I'm like, hi, I have it on email. And she's like, yeah, just type in my email address. Get the email address, forward it to her. Okay, ma'am, all your documents are sorted, done and dusted. And I'm just like, okay, thank you. And they're like, but because it's not more than 15 days, there's a chance you might be rejected, so you have to sign this like form. So I'm like, yeah, okay, please let it not be rejected, but I'll sign. And I do. I pay the exorbitant amount for the visa application, and I'm done for the day. So I thought that would be the end of it. It was not. I leave from town and I go to Canal Walk because I was hoping for the best and preparing for the worst. So my thing was, my appointment was for I think a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and yeah, my appointment I think was the Tuesday, the week before I flew. And my thing was, I'm flying next week Wednesday. I have 7 days from the visa application date to the date my flight leaves. In those 7 days, I can plan and everything and pack for this trip, but in no way, shape or form am I going to overdo it. Like, I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to do anything because I'm not going to get it. And I'm also not going to be like, I'm ready to leave right now. And then it falls through the cracks. So I am shopping in Canal Walk, just browsing for like, oh, I might need that. Okay, like, yes, that's cool. Checking things like that. When I get a phone call and it's the office, the VFS office, saying, can you move your flight a day later? Because then we can guarantee the visa. And I'm like, if that's what I need to do, I'll do it, my girl. I'm just like, okay, yes, I'll get that done. And I'll email you the details. Can you just email me first? Because I'm out and about and I'll get you it sorted. She emails me and I fly home from Canal Walk. I come home, I barely greet my mom. I run to my laptop, I log in to Emirates, my flight, the website, because that's where my flight is through Emirates. And I'm on the website, I'm clicking to change my flight. And then the website's not working properly, so I can't change my flight. It's not accepting the payment. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So I was just like, once again, I'm not giving up. I will succeed no matter what. So once again, I call their customer service. And this man from Ireland, he's got the best accent. I enjoyed so much, our conversation, because it was really, really funny. And I called, I said, I really need to move this flight, right now. Can you help me? He's like, of course, ma'am. All the details, did everything through the phone, and I ended up being able to move my flight. I got the confirmation, I emailed it through, and off into the universe my application for my visa went. So the lady confirmed she received it, and then boom, bam, thank you, ma'am. My visa application was through. So I was like, okay, fine, I can now rest easy. Cool. I think it was 2 or 3 days later. Yeah, the Tuesday I sent in the application. I think Thursday they let me know it's successful and I can go get the passport with the valid visa and everything. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, I got my visa. So that was the visa saga. Now comes the getting everything together and ready. So before my visa appointment, which was on the Tuesday, I had made an announcement to my family on the Monday, leave me alone. Okay, please understand, I need to prepare for my first international trip. I can't be making mistakes. I can't be forgetting things. I'm not going around the corner. I am gone. So you need to let me just get what I need done. Ask someone else if you need anything. I'm not available. And that's something that was not the easiest thing to say out loud, but I did, and I was very proud of myself for it. So my family understood that. Once the visa came through at the end of the week, I was like Speedy Gonzalez. It was wild. I didn't have a luggage bag. Literally no luggage bag. I needed to get one. I have a small Samsonite one, which is hand luggage. So I've never needed to worry about that. But I needed like a big luggage case. I thought that was amazing, and I did my research. I found that Macro had this big bag, so I was like, okay, cool. First and foremost, when I got my visa the Friday, I saw the visa date was the day I originally applied for, and so I actually went back into the Emirates and then paid again to move my flight a day earlier. So I had to swap my flight to a later date for the visa application, and then I changed it back to the original one beforehand. And I was like, okay, cool. So my trip is still the same. Great. I then went and collected my visa on the Friday, if I'm not mistaken, and went to Canal Walk afterwards to go buy some clothes, some basics that I'd been eyeing the couple of days prior. And I bought them, and I was really happy with them because I would like enjoy wearing them on my trip and also be like, okay, cool, I can wear them after my trip as well. It wasn't items that was just going to be a one and done. It was something I could wear ongoing, and I have worn it since, and I've loved all the pieces because it was like some basic white and black tank tops, over sweater that's pink with like some decor on it, a black one with some decor on it. Did I get a tracksuit? I don't think so. I bought pajamas, that was nice. Honestly, it was so hot in Madeira, it was ridiculous. Yeah, so just some essential things, some underwear, stuff like that, but nothing over the top. I had a dress, I wore that one to a previous wedding a couple of years ago. I still wore that one, I've had it for a while, so I wasn't like needing to buy a dress or anything. I had shoes, I didn't need a handbag, like I had everything that I needed. So I just needed those few essentials, and then I needed to get my luggage bag. So my luggage bag, I ended up buying from Macro literally the day before the flight took off. It was wild. And so it was a rat race of note. But yeah, I got it done. Everything had been cleaned and stuff because like I said, I knew what I was going to take with. I just needed those few clothing items, but for the most part, everything was ready to go. I had them in piles, folded up, ready to go for the trip. So I just went and got the bag, cleaned it, and then started packing basically the night before my flight. I double checked my bag and packing and liquids that you can take on the flight and things like that. My devices needed to be charged that were going to go with me, and all my space in my memory on my phone for all the footage I was going to take. That was a whole other problem, but we'll get there. It was a bit crazy to get the visa, which was kind of like the hardest part, I think. And then the packing in the flight, like the packing for the flight, was fairly easy. And then my sister and my mom dropped me off at the airport. And then I went to the business lounge where I sat and chilled. I have free lounge visits every year through Nedbank. This is not sponsored by them, by the way. I've just loved using them. And even when I had like domestic flights, I get free lounge visits. There's a limit for international ones and a limit for domestic ones. So I used them last year and they were really nice. I got to the airport on Wednesday. That was my flight. I was honestly quite excited for the flight. I was not intimidated by it. I was just nervous because it was a long flight and I'd never done such a long flight. I've done from Cape Town to PE quite a few times by now, and this is my first international flight. So I'm just like, I can do a few hours in the air. I don't know if I can do 15 hours in the air. That's a bit much because yeah, it was roughly a 8 or 9 hour flight, the first one, and then like another 8 or 9 hour flight, the second one, and then there was layovers in between, and then another 2 hour flight at the end. It's a lot of flying. It takes almost like 24 hours to get there, and it's hectic, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think one thing people need to understand is I had an overnight flight, a day flight, and then a 2 hour flight. The 2 hour flight is nothing. I can do that easily. The overnight flight is when you need to sleep, especially if you need to adapt to a change in time zones or something. Luckily, I didn't. I was just an hour out. But keeping as much natural rhythm as you can when you do this stuff is the best benefit. If you're flying overnight, sleep. If you're flying during the day, don't sleep. So that was what I did. I was able to catch up on some shows, read my book, and capture some really good footage. So I thoroughly enjoyed the flights. I now know I have no problem with international flights. I now know how to do them and I thoroughly enjoy them. I do want to go overseas again. I already am like mentally planning my next trip. But I do want to upgrade because when it came to the flights, I am a bit of a big girl, so I take up a lot of space and it's very difficult sitting in narrow seats, especially as a bigger person. And also just having more freedom of movement. I like space around me. So I definitely think I want to upgrade my ticket if I do fly internationally again. There is a thing on Emirates called Economy Plus. So it's like economy, or I think it's economy premium. I must double check. But yeah, you get like your own little seat, I think, and it's like really, really nice. And I'm just like, ooh. So my next flight, that is definitely worth saving up for, especially if you're going to be like quite a few hours in the air. So yeah, that's my plan. I did get a lot of points from this flight, so I can put it towards an upgrade of some sort. So yeah, that is that. Going there, the first flight was nerve-wracking, but it was just kind of like adapting. The second flight was during the day, so I was much more calmer, but still tired because I didn't know the sleep at night thing. Once you get the hang of it, you got the hang of it, you're golden. You're not going to have a problem. And then I had quite a bit of a wait because I went to Dubai airport first. From there, I had to run through because I went from Cape Town to Dubai and I had to run through that airport to catch my next flight from Dubai to Lisbon. And then in Lisbon, I had, I think, a couple of hours layover and then into the island of Madeira. So from Lisbon to Madeira. And that was easy. A bit windy, a bit turbulent sea, but that was good. So those flights were quite breezy. I had jam-packed seats on both flights. So like 3 people and me at the window in each seat. So yeah, it was quite hectic, but it was fine. The air host and air hostesses, they were absolutely incredible. They speak a multitude of languages. They always look so well put together and they are so nice. Yeah, they do the damn thing really, really well. Also, pro tip, if you're on a flight, check when you need the bathroom because you have these aisles blocked by the air hostesses when they are doing their job. So they'll have like a little cart that takes up almost the entire aisle. And then they'll offer you drinks and things like that. And they'll usually do it at the same time. Meaning you can't get out your seat and just easily bypass them to get to the bathroom. You'll have to like put your bum in someone's face. And then let them pass and then get out. Don't do that. If you see them coming, run to the bathroom beforehand or wait till after. Don't disturb them. Don't do that. That's not nice. So yeah, that was fine. I left Cape Town on Wednesday. When did I leave on Wednesday? I don't know. I can't even remember. It's been wild. Hold on. So for the convenience of my family, I made a little Canva thingy that I sent to everyone. That was my itinerary that had like my hotel's name, the address, the phone number, and then what I was going to do. So day 1 and 2, I was doing my flights because it took like 2 days to get there. Day 3, 4, 5, and 6, I was going to be taking pictures, attending the wedding, sightseeing, doing views and things like that. And then day 7 and 8, I would be flying back. So my flight left Cape Town on Wednesday at 6:25. I landed in Dubai the morning I left Dubai, like barely an hour and a half later. I landed in Lisbon. And then from Lisbon, I went to Madeira, the island. I arrived there 6:35 in the evening. So I left the evening, I arrived the evening. I traveled for like over 24 hours. Hectic. But that's what happened. And then I get there. My uncle said to like pop in, make sure you're safe and everything. So I went straight from the airport to my uncle's little house that he had rented for the duration, and I stayed there for like an hour or two, and I'm like, I just want to get to my accommodation. So I'd been traveling, I want to shower, all those types of things. I leave my uncle's accommodation and go to mine. My accommodation is barely 4 minutes away from where he stays. However, Madeira is very, very much full of hills. Okay, it's an island, but it's wildly like a hill. So you can't just like walk. It's like climbing a mountain if you want to walk up a road. It's very, very steep things. So like, yeah, no. I had to take a Bolt because Bolt is like the service of choice in Madeira. And I was like 5 minutes away, and my driver didn't really know where my accommodation was. So I asked him to just ask like a waiter, like where this place is, because he just wanted to leave me in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, dude, no. Because I was ready to like go back to my uncle's place and be like, yeah, we're gonna sleep on your couch and figure this out tomorrow. But I was like, once again, not gonna give up. I get to my accommodation, which was the street behind the one we were in, and I'm standing out the door. I'm messaging these people, and they had a mix-up on when I was arriving. But I eventually got in, and the lady was so sweet. She helped me along with my language because I had learned Portuguese for my trip. So I'd been studying it for like 8 months by that point. And I was able to like, you know, communicate with her, my cab driver, things like that. But like she apologized the next day once I had checked in, showered, rested, all of that. She gave me a little tour of the place. Anything I needed, she could help me with. She gave me this cool map of the island. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. My accommodation was amazing, and it was so nice that I actually moved my flight so that I could have that extra day just to rest and recover. The first day there, I went out and I just walked around and took pictures, took videos, found a nice breakfast spot, and just chilled. Yeah, what else did I do? Yeah, there's like this street that's like famous for its artwork. I actually had my accommodation in that street on one end, so I walked like up and down taking pictures. There's a skate park, a little cafe, and I went to the park to read. Came back to my accommodation with some time to relax. And then I think, did I visit my family that evening? I can't remember. I cannot remember for the life of me. But yeah. Oh wait, the evening. So I left the Wednesday, I arrived Thursday evening. Friday morning I explored. Friday evening I met up with my family because it was the pre-wedding cocktails somewhere. So I went to my uncle's place, and then from there all of us carpooled and went to the place where we were going to have the drinks. So it was literally just like a restaurant on this pier type vibe, so everyone could kind of meet before the wedding, have drinks, eat, chill, talk, get to know one another. And so we did till late at night. And the nice thing about Madeira is the sun sets late and everything is like fairly safe, and it's really, really nice. So we ended up having a good time till late, and then we all just went back. So yeah, Friday night was spent having those drinks. It was really fun to like re-meet people or things like that. The one auntie came from Australia with her boyfriend, and I had so much fun talking to this auntie because she remembered me and I remembered her, and we got on like a house on fire. My cousin's friends, other family members, you know, from his other side, not the side related to me, they were there. My cousin's wife's family, who are from the island, they were there. I got to meet so many other people, or once again reacquaint myself with people, and that was fun. So yeah, it was really, really cool to have that evening to kind of, you know, meet them, greet them, to not be awkward for the next day, which was the wedding. So once again, I chose the perfect accommodation because, like I said, I researched this, so I could literally just walk up the road on the day of the wedding for about 4 minutes, and then boom, I'm there. So I walked up the road on the Saturday of the wedding to the cathedral type place. It was a church where they had the wedding. From there, we walked down the road and around the corner to the reception area where there was like a little cocktail hour. So you could have drinks, sit, chat. And it was nice because, like I said, the night before you'd met these people and then the Saturday you were like, oh, hi again. And then, you know, you chat. So that was fun. And then we were taking photos, things like that. moved on to the upper area where it was almost like this castle that like overlooked the ocean, and on top was where you had your reception area. So we were there. They had a very, like, you dish your own food, so it was kind of just like not potluck style. The food was laid out very nice. You could dish for yourself and like come back for seconds if you wanted more, things like that. It was absolutely stunning. All the meals were so nice, and they gave like this little menu both in English and then you flip it around and it's in Portuguese. I thought that was really cool. And everyone got a tile with their name like put on it, and it was like customized, so each one was different. I absolutely loved like all the attention to detail that went into this wedding. After that, we went back downstairs to the open area. The top part overlooked the ocean, but like the lower level as well. But there was more place to dance, and they like put out a floor. The DJ was set up. They had a drinks table set up there, so it was like a mini bar. And oh my word, it was absolutely stunning. It was so fun. I did not stop. Like dancing, talking to people, chilling, drinking. It was amazing. We had such a good time on the dance floor. We did not stop partying until I think 2 o'clock in the morning. And then my cousin and her husband walked me home, like around the corner, and then they walked further to the accommodation. I was in by 2:30 and I was in bed by 3, and it was amazing. And then, funny enough, the wedding was Saturday. Sunday morning, I was up at about 7, 8 o'clock, and I went up the mountain via the cable car. So I outdrank all my cousins, was not hung over the Sunday, and yeah, went up a friggin' mountain, just living my best life. Had an incredible breakfast type thing there. I walked through this like mini garden forest. It was incredible and it was free. And I just loved in nature for a moment because it's such a nice view. And like the day was overcast, which was lovely because it's so hot there. So having an overcast day means the sun isn't beating down on you. And that was really nice. So yeah, I had this breakfast on this side cafe place, and I took away one of these Dubai brownies that they were selling, and the brownie was so damn good. It was so good. And then I went and just walked around more, and then took a bus down back to my accommodation and chilled there because like I'd walked around for so long. It was like late afternoon by the time I arrived back. And then my cousin was like, yo, come over later, but I'll let you know when. And then there was some type of issue, and it's like, yeah, sorry, never mind, don't worry. And then I found out what happened, and I was like, yeah, cool, thank you for not involving me. Nothing major, there was just like confusion. So yeah, that was my Sunday. And then Monday, I went back up the cable car with my aunt and uncle because they had bought tickets for the botanical cable car, and then you have like the normal cable car. So we ended up driving up with the Uber to the botanical cable car, and then we took that cable car, explored all sorts of things, looked around, walked around, shopped around. We got ice cream. The ice cream there for some reason just hits different. It's so good. I had a pistachio one. Blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. It was so good. So yeah, my aunt walked around the gardens. My uncle and I just walked around everywhere. We went to go watch the toboggan, which is you go down the mountainside in a basket. It was so cool. When I went up the mountain the Sunday, they were closed. And I was like, damn it. And the Monday I was with my uncle, so it's like we already had other plans. So we looked around, we walked around, we did the botanical garden cable car, and then we Ubered back down to their accommodation. My cousin went and cooked us mussel on his broken leg heel thing. So he still did the most even though he was injured. Him and his wife made this incredible little mussel and mushroom pasta pot. So good. I keep bringing it up. I literally brought it up like 3 days ago when I spoke to him, and I'm like, I can't eat anyone's mussels. Like I had yours fresh and it tasted so good that like I went to other places and I'm like, it doesn't taste the same, so I refuse to eat it. I can't. It was just that good. And like they bought fresh mussels from the market and he cooked them and cleaned them and everything like that. So I'm just like, oh wow, this is actually quite good. So yeah, I keep bragging about it. Shout out to him. And then I went home was that Monday evening? Yeah, Monday evening. And that was kind of like my final night because the Tuesday I was leaving. So what happened was I got up early, took a bolt up the mountain and was third in line for the toboggan. The little going down the mountain in a basket thing. Yeah, I got up so early. I got up so early to do that. Climbed up that mountain. Went down in the little basket. Raced back to my accommodation on a bus. Because honestly, I love taking the bus there. The bus is so fun in Madeira. It's really, really fun. So I took the bus back down the mountain. The bus got stuck in traffic. So I'm just like, dude, let me off here. And I just huffed it back to my apartment. Well, it's a hotel. I call it an apartment because it's like a one-man room. Went back there and everything was packed because I packed the night before. I laid out my outfits before. So I just had to come back, close it up, double check I had everything and then leave. And that's what I did. I went and checked out. Once again, loved my accommodation. The lady there was so amazing. It's a family run little place. Went there and checked out. Went up the road to my uncle's place. Said goodbye to them. Only my cousin and her husband were there. But I did greet everyone the day before. And then from there, I went to the airport. And I'm like, this was an amazing trip. So at the airport, I ended up coming back. First flight was 2 hours from Madeira to Lisbon. From Lisbon back to Dubai. And then from Dubai, I went to Cape Town. And the last flight home was probably the best one. Not because I was coming home, but because there was an empty seat in between me and this other lady who was like, so it was me by the window, a gap, and then the lady in the aisle seat. And we both looked at each other like when the flight was getting ready to take off, like, we have a whole seat to ourselves. Like, let's make the most of this. Like, we were both so excited. So we'd use the middle seat to hold like our pillow if we're gonna leave, or like our blanket if it's too hot or something like that. And also like for our food and our snacks and our drinks. So like she was reading a book. So she just, I plopped the little backrest thingy down so you can like put your little tray and things on there. And she put a drink there. I put my drink on the other half. We like split the extra tray between us. It was a heap of fun. And then I found out she actually lives not too far from where I stay. So I'm just like, yeah, the Lord works mysterious ways. This is incredible. So yeah, I did manage to get some souvenirs for the family on the way. When was it? I think it was the day I did the Sunday trip that I did solo. On the way home, I think I did explore and get some souvenirs that I had scouted out, I think, the first morning I was there. So I brought back some souvenirs for the fam. Yeah, it was lovely. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The moment I landed, I knew I wanted to do more trips because like, this is amazing. I need to start getting paid to travel. This is so fun. That was my Madeira trip in a nutshell. I still can't believe it happened. It's amazing. I love it. I keep looking at the footage and things, and I need to seriously, like I said at the beginning of this episode, get my stuff up on YouTube and things, because that's going to be a whole 2 or 3 vlogs in and of itself. If not, you know, one massive mega episode, much like this is, because wow, we are going on for 50 minutes. Okay, let me shut up and get to the point. The trip was amazing. Being home was incredible. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would do it again in a heartbeat 1,000,000 times over. And I can't wait for my next trip. So, in conclusion, it was amazing. I laughed because my brother's like, they could have said they're going overseas to have a birthday party and you would have gone. And I'm like, yes, I would have been there with a candle. like any excuse to go. This is my excuse to go, and now I don't need an excuse. That is me. That is it for this episode. I have a song that I had been mentally preparing to use for months. Yeah. Okay, so the song of this episode, because it's not this week. There's no next week, there's no last week, there is just this episode. So the song for this episode is I Get Around by the Beach Boys. It's basically like an inside joke that happened at the wedding. Yeah, so if anyone happens to ask me, I'll explain, but it's an inside joke. I'm keeping it inside, but for this episode, I'm letting it out. So I Get Around by the Beach Boys. It's an iconic song. So yeah, that is the song for this episode. That is it from me for this episode. I'm going to drink so much water because my voice is so tired. But thank you for joining me on this long-winded spiel. So thank you for sticking around. I hope you choose to keep sticking around, and I will definitely see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.